I'm Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, we are on firmware 5.03 for the FM3, and I want to show you a preset that I have written for my own needs that uses the new Scene Ignore feature on 2 blocks in here. My motivation here is that this particular preset is essentially a modified version of my main live preset. If you check the factory banks, there's actually a preset in there called Leon's Live, which I wrote, which does everything that I would ever need in a live context. However, when I'm practicing the live ragdoll set, some of our older material is in drop C# tuning. Currently, we play in drop C tuning. So when I'm playing along to the recordings of the older material, I either need to grab another guitar or I need to use the virtual Capo. And over the last couple of firmwares, the virtual Capo on the FM3 has had some really sweet little updates, and it is absolutely fantastic and totally usable in a live context, even more so for the context that I need it in. So I need that ability to turn on the pitch block virtual Capo every now and then have it hold across all my scenes. The new Scene Ignore feature lets me do that. I'll show you another block that I really like using the Scene Ignore feature as well with this particular preset. But first, let's take a look at the core tones in the preset. I mostly use 4 scenes live. Everything is based around this USA Lead mid-gain amp. I'm using an impulse response that I made that you can get from Exchange. I just shot my favorite real-world cab, and I find that is a great way to just kind of keep your tones personal and not have to spend too much time surfing through different IRs. I have a parametric EQ block in here, which is tuned for live use. You can see a low cut at 80 Hertz with a very steep filter slope and a high cut at 6500 Hertz, again with a very steep filter slope. Again, this preset is designed to be listened to very loud, which is why I've gone with those pretty extreme cuts in there. I've got a multi-band compressor just doing a fun little low-end trick, which I have talked about before. And then we have some London plate reverb. Let's hear this in drop C on my PRS. Scene 2 uses a little control switch trick in here. I have the input boost and the fat switch assigned to control switches, and then I'm using the control switch per scene function in the controllers tab, which you can see right down here. And you can see that my one control switch, which controls the status of the input boost and the fat switch, is designed to be on in scene 2. So when I switch over to scene 2, check this out. These 2 switches come on. So I get not only more gain, I get the mid-range shifted with this fat control, which is great for lead playing. Then I have this delay come on. I'm using the stereo BBD. I've set the core tempo to be a quarter note, so it's synced up to the pulse of the song. I've set the left-right time ratio to 75%, so I have offset stereo delays. Because I'm running it in parallel, the bypass mode is set to mute effects in, mix is at 100%, and I've just turned the level down a little bit. This is my happy place. I've got scene 3 set up for a rhythmic delay effect, like and scene 4 simply takes scene 3, but changes the channel on this second delay block that I was using for my lead delay and sets up a chorus. I'm using the 2290 mode in here, very short delay time, no feedback, and I've gone into the modulation section and added some depth and rate in there. I've also got my dual delay on there. So this is just a chorused version of scene 3, which I've called Wobble. So they're my core tones for this particular preset, and they work great for what I need to do. with Ragdoll. Like I was saying at the start of the video though, some songs were originally recorded in drop C# tuning and I like practicing along to those songs. So I like being able to use the virtual capo. I'll let you hear what the virtual capo does when I kick it in and out. And this tracks really, really well. I've just got it at the stock settings. I should actually set the pitch tracking to smooth on here because I'm going to be playing some chords as well. So I'll leave it there. And obviously if I'm playing a song on the rhythm scene and there's a guitar solo in it, I want to go to the lead scene. But previously, if you did that, you would have to turn this pitch block on in every scene and then save it using this new scene ignore feature, which I've enabled. When I've got the virtual capo on, it's going to be on across all my scenes. When I turn it off, it's going to be off across all my scenes. So this is a great way to take those 4 core tones and simply just change the tuning on them across all of those scenes. Anyway, let's hear the virtual capo, and I might switch over to my lead scene while I'm at it. Amazing stuff. The way I've got this preset laid out, let's have a look at FC Edit. I am using layout 4. Of course, you can customize any layout to do anything you like, but I'm using 2 views on here. So you can see here on my main view, I have the first preset. When I press it, is going to select scene 1. When I press and hold this button right here, it is going to change to my lead scene. So I use those for kind of the majority of a session or a gig. They are in the bottom left. I know where they're at, and they're my bread and butter sounds. Similar idea with scene 3 and 4. I'm just doing that on the 2nd foot switch. Then on the 3rd foot switch, I've got it set to be a tap tempo, but when I press and hold this foot switch, which I'll reach over and do now, it's going to take me across to view 2 over here. And view 2 is where I have the pitch block set to be a virtual capo as a primary function, so I can engage and disengage the virtual capo across all my scenes that way. I've also got a parametric EQ block at the start of the chain. I'll show you what that does in a second. Then I've got the tuner function over here. If I press and hold this far right button again, it will take me back over to my main scenes and tap tempo, the stuff that I need to play along to the song. So the idea is that I set up a particular song on this page over here. I can set whether the virtual capo is on or off. In fact, I can even set the channel of the virtual capo by pressing and holding. You know, if I was playing a Strat in standard tuning and instead of tuning this guitar up, I wanted to tune that one down, I've got it set up to do, and similarly with the parametric EQ. So that is a really straightforward layout. The idea is I'm on view 2, I set up for the song, then I go back to view 1 to actually perform the song, which works really, really well for me. What I want to do is to just kind of ride you out, show you what this parametric EQ block does at the start of the chain. Now, I have also enabled scene ignore on this block, and a little while ago, I did a video talking about kind of creating a pickup compensator. I did one on my channel and I did one on this channel as well. I think the one on this channel, we talked about going from single coils to thicker humbucker sounds. Well, this is doing the opposite. Let me engage this parametric EQ. I'll actually do it over here. So this is button number 2. I'll turn that on. It's set to scene ignore. And what this is doing, you can see it's doing some drastic EQ cuts, but it's kind of taking out the resonant peaks in this humbucker and adding a new little resonant peak to mimic a single coil. And this kind of gets me a stratty tone out of this guitar, which otherwise really doesn't do those kind of crispy single coil sounds. I'll put this patch up on Exchange for you all to enjoy. Hopefully this gives you some ideas for using the new scene ignore feature, and hopefully it will also give you some ideas on how to use the updated pitch block in here. The tracking on this now is kind of at a level I never would have imagined you could get out of anything. It kind of still feels like magic, whether I'm using the FM3 or whether I'm using the Axe-FX 3 or FM9 for this particular function. It makes my life so easy when I'm practicing the ragdoll set list or just about anything else that I want to practice on a particular guitar without having to retune it. And I know a lot of you use this particular function in the pitch block for live performance as well. If you are doing that, let me know what songs you're playing with it and if the scene ignore feature is something you're using. Otherwise, I will see you all next week for another Tuesday Tone Tip. Take it easy, and I'll see you then.